What was the highlight of your visit here?
Well, the visit's just getting started. This is our first day. We'll be here all day tomorrow. But I think their discussion with the Prime Minister this morning was very important. Very impressed with the kind of discussion we had this morning, and it shows the enthusiasm that your country has for developing nuclear energy.
How important is nuclear energy these days? With the trouble in Ukraine, with the Russian gas, can nuclear energy help us to solve the Russian gas problem?
Well, I certainly have seen since the war in Ukraine began that countries have taken energy security much more seriously than before. And in that context, we've seen a shift in Europe towards nuclear energy that really hadn't existed before. So I think the answer is absolutely yes. I think nuclear is part of the solution. It's not the whole solution, but it's an important part.
You know, NuScale Power and Nuclear Electrica will set up a SMR here. Do you have any details? Do you know something when this SMR is going to be put in place here?
Well, I know what the plans are. I mean, of course, there's still a lot of business discussions and governmental discussions underway, but I think the objective is to see an SMR being built in Romania before, at least starting before the end of this decade. That's in line with what we've seen in other countries that are interested in these technologies. And it apparently is intended to replace some of the retiring coal plants. So this is very consistent with what NuScale was created to do, to replace coal and to give nuclear operators greater flexibility with extremely high levels of safety. And so what's happening in Romania is pretty much in line with what's happening in the US and other places.
I wanted to ask you this because it's a quite new technology. How safe it is, SMR?
Well, it's new technology, but it's based on long experience on light water reactor technology. The reactors that most countries operate around the world is based on this technology. This is a smarter, more flexible way of using that technology, but with very, very high levels of safety. So it's a new version of the same basic concept, but one that really benefits from a lot of experience over the years.
Europe is divided on this topic, I mean nuclear energy topic. Why do you think we have in Europe countries like Germany who wants to shut down nuclear plants in these days, I mean, with trouble in Ukraine and stuff like this?
Well, it's very clear that every country has to develop its own energy policies. And there's a lot of things that go into developing energy policies, not just economics and technologies, lots of philosophy that go into it and policy concerns. And for some countries, nuclear is not the answer. They don't want to build nuclear plants for one reason or another, and you have to ask them what their reasons are. But for many other countries, nuclear is part of it. And so our job is to support whatever decisions countries want to make and to help give them guidance as to how to make their programs as effective as possible, whether they're building new nuclear power plants or decommissioning old power plants. And so we do both.
Is nuclear energy cheaper and safer than others?
Well, our analysis shows that if you want to find the cheapest way of reducing CO2 emissions in the long-term future, there's no question, analysis that we and other people have done, is that keeping existing nuclear facilities operating as long as possible is the cheapest solution. Building new plants is more expensive, of course, but on average, when you look around the impacts of the grid and how we operate electricity systems, nuclear is pretty competitive, and it's in line with the costs of other options.
I told you I'm a war correspondent. I want to ask you something about Ukraine and Russia playing next to power plants, nuclear power plants there. How dangerous is this for us? I mean, you know the episode with the Russian soldiers next to Chernobyl power plant. How dangerous could be this for Europe and the whole world?
Well, you know, we, like others, are monitoring the situation very closely. We haven't seen anything that really has presented an immediate threat to the safety of nuclear facilities. It is not a comfortable situation to have nuclear plants in the war zone, obviously, but to date, we haven't seen reasons for anyone in Romania to be concerned.